Welcome back. Happy Saturday morning to you all. Welcome. So let's just get going, shall we? Let's just get going. I took a loss on gold yesterday and I called it, and I'm still sticking to my guns. And we'll go over gold and I'll analyze it and see what I could have learnt from, see what I potentially didn't see, because sometimes you do miss some things in the charts. It's just part of it. But I took a loss, which is fine. I'm fine with it. Like, I risked 1%. I was sensible. I said take a trade on gold if you want to take a trade on gold, but be sensible with it. Too many people put 55,000 lots down on it. They'll put 10 lot down, and then they'll wonder why their account's gone if it goes into a stop loss. You have to be sensible, guys. Doesn't matter if it's gold, an FX pair, an agricultural pair. You've just got to be sensible about it. And even the best traders in the world, like the best traders in the world who trade for JP Morgan, BlackRock, all them sort of Vanguard, all them sort of massive institutions, like these traders, especially with JP Morgan, they do lose. And you can look at the results, like they do lose. But the thing is, everyone loses. It's just how you go about taking it. You got to take it on the chin. Simple as that. You got to take it on the chin. There's no other way around it. And you got to keep these losses as small as you can, and you got to keep your winners big. So out of 10 trades, you could have 6 winners and 4 losses. Happy days. That's happy days. And you will make money out of that. As long as you keep your losses them 4 times, 1%, 2%, you still got money in the account to go with. So you have to be sensible. And it took me a very, 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 very long time to realise that. And everyone's journey is different. Everyone takes losses different. But you're only going to learn by it if you take losses. You're only going to learn by blown accounts if you blow your account. Do you know what I mean? You just gotta learn by it all right? And that being said, they can be hard pills to swallow, but you just got to get on with it. And there's a lot of it just comes with time. So yeah, took a loss on gold, but it is what it is, and we move forward. And I said probably a week and a half ago now, I done it in one of my other videos about British pound, Swiss franc trade. Like I say, one trade loses, there's always another trade on the horizon, and we'll go through everything, and I'll show you this trade which I spoke about before. So let's see what we got coming up next week. Next week, I'm pretty sure it's a busy week. There is a lot of US dollar news on Tuesday, but they shouldn't really impact stuff. Jobs opening shouldn't really impact it too much. Wednesday, some Australian dollar news, more US dollar news and Canadian news. Non-farm employment change, advanced GDP price index. Okay, interesting. Federal funds rate. Yeah, see, so this is interesting. Next week's going to be very, very, very volatile, I think. I think next week's going to be a difficult one. So I'm glad I read this. I'm glad I read the news to come next week, because it will give me more to think about when I look at gold, for instance, because next week will impact gold major. FOMC as well. So Thursday, yeah, FOMC. I like FOMC. JPY. Yeah, next week's. That was what I was going to say. I remember what I was going to say now. Someone sent something to me yesterday that Trump said a tweet. I think again, said something about Jerome Powell. Let me just try and find it a sec. He said something about Jerome Powell. Hang on. Interest rates or something. There we go. President Trump says he thinks Jerome Powell might be ready to lower the rates. So it's probably just another game, to be honest. But that's going to make it interesting. He'll probably lower the rates, and Trump won't like it. Say, you've lowered them too much, and then give him the boot. It's one of them, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Unemployment cost index for the US dollar on Thursday. Bank holiday for the Swiss franc Friday. God, ain't it? Next week, look at that. Look at this, man. Look at it. This is all Thursday. This is all Thursday. Tentative. Oh, someone told me what tentative means. I'm pretty sure tentative means it's intermittent throughout the whole day. Just like ongoing. Friday. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be interesting next week. Going to be interesting. Right, we'll get into gold straight away. And, I hold my hand. I said to everyone, 3,500. I'm still saying 3,500. I'm still saying 3,500. We've just, essentially, we've had a bigger pullback than what anticipated. But I said this could just be the next. This could be the next bit of structure for the continuation of the downtrend. I did say that, and that's what it was. And it's got down to this bottom bit of 4-hour demand. It's got down to this 4-hour demand and broken it as well. And I said this could be the last 300, the last stand, and unfortunately, it's finished. So, guys, it is what it is. We just need to move forward and look forward, and we will definitely do that. Gold has still got a lot more potential to the upside, a lot. And I'll go through. Let's get rid of this. Let's just clean it up. Go on the daily time frame now. So I said about fresh daily demand being created. We've sort of created it, but it's broken it. You could incorporate this in to be the level. But it's one of them. It's fine margins whether you could include it into this to value it as a valid demand zone, essentially. So we've had a big pullback. We've had 3 big daily bearish candles now on gold. They are big. We've pulled back into this springy area, which I spoke about. It's a spring ready to go pop and power to the upside. So we've dwindled back into the area. And this is a very strong area as well, mind. Like, in terms of, I say it's a strong area. Look at this. Just look in between this yellow box. So in between this, look, price is very much stagnant. You could say this is like a major supply and demand zone into one sort of thing. Price just doesn't really know what it wants to do around these areas. It's very undecided. And it's a strong area. And if we do break these lows, which I don't think will, not for a little while, but we do break these lows here and get down to here, we're going to have a thumping move down with gold, mirroring the move up down here, which I've also spoke many a times. But you got to be adaptive, and I've been adaptive with gold, and I'm still saying 3,500. Hands are still up, still saying 3,500. Just got a loss. Happy days. So prices come back into this called spring area. And it's going to be very interesting now because the weekly would have closed very strongly as well. Yeah. See, that's very strong, bearish momentum. But like, look at this. Look at last week's. No. Look at this weekly here. It finished with sellers tried to get price down, but it finished with the sellers at the top. Didn't really have much follow through. Here you've got a very, very, very bearish candle. That's a lot of power. So next week you could get a little bit of follow through to create a bottom wick on the weekly. Next week, guys, is going to be a bit interesting, if I'm completely honest, with what news is coming and what Trump's saying now with Jerome Powell again. Like, next week's going to be fruity. But flipping, yeah. I mean, this has been hit a lot as well up here, isn't it? So you could say for the resistance traders, that is some very strong resistance now. But that's in an ideal world without interest rates getting dropped and without the potential sacking of somebody. So that will quite easily get broken under them circumstances. Not an average news event wouldn't do it. FOMC or NFP could potentially push it up to these areas. But gold's a hard one at the moment, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is really difficult. It is difficult to give my honest opinions. Imagine your imaginary trend line, more or less, on the 4 hour. Like I said, we've created 4 hourly up, good structure to the upside, like up, pull back, up, pull back, up, pull back. Probably deeper pullback here, perhaps, and then up, but it's all come over here instead. And I think, in hindsight, what I could have learned from this would be, because 9 times out of 10 my entries were always down around these areas. I literally get it at the tips of wicks in areas it's crazy areas. So this is an ideal entry. If you got into an entry down here at the end of Pele yesterday, then happy days. But the next play with gold, you got to be sensible around it. The next play with gold, for sure. You have to be sensible with this, because if it does break these lows, it's going to go down hard. All right. So if you got in somewhere like this, put your stop loss probably there. And I mean, look, you've already got if you break for a new high, you got a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So if you lost 1% yesterday, like I did, then you just jump back on the bandwagon and you make 3% on this one. And then you've made yesterday's loss back plus 2% profit. Happy days. What's the problem? Do you know what I mean? So let's get rid of this yellow box now as well. So gold moving forward, it's mark. It's difficult to mark these zones. It really is. You'll have to just do it all on the 4. There is no real demand now, other than this is probably, this is demand, but it will be like hourly demand or 2 hourly demand. So not really much to go by. Gonna have to do this really in levels. Again, these are levels that I've used for 5 years or plus. So they're accurate. I've got obviously years of data. I say years of data, years of using them, and do you know what I mean? You just can't beat original old tricks. So we'll do this. So the trade, I'm not just going to go jumping in it. This is next week's potential. I'm not going to just jump in this now, but next week's potential and above. See how price reacts. See how the market opens over the weekend, because we could get a gap Sunday. So we'll see how the market opens. See how it is. I think we chill on gold. This is the idea. But I think we chill on gold, to be honest. I do reckon gold needs to just do its thing for a minute and go from there. But just don't have FOMO with it. All right, just respect it. So that's what is the plan. Yeah. And this looks good. It still looks good to the upside. So let's have a look at the other FX pairs I was talking about, and then we'll get into everything else. Well, there's not really much. There is a bit. Well, it's major futures anyway. Agricultural one, crude oil. Again, so the US dollar, Swiss franc. I said this would have been new created demand. This candle finished really nice out of the zone. If this closed yesterday up here, we'd be laughing. We'd be cooking on the US dollar, Swiss franc. That would have been nice, and it nearly did. It's just a shame it's had the rejection. But this is not over, guys. This isn't over with the US dollar and the Swiss franc. I think out of nowhere, the US dollar itself yesterday just had a couple of shots of Red Bull and Jägermeister, and it just perked itself up. But it's hit the 4-hourly supply that I saw, and it's rejected. So we will go through that. But the US dollar Swiss franc, guys, perspective is same as what I said the other day. Really, the structure's nice still. See what I mean? It's just slow old bus and mess of candles. So price ain't just going to go wallop through. Might go walloping all the way down to here and then pull off, but it's a lot of roadblocks and speed bumps. So US dollar Swiss franc, same scenario. Still upward momentum. Euro USD. So I was a bit short with my pullback potentially. It's because we spoke about it, didn't I? Yeah, we were looking at this. Pretty sure it's this 4-hourly candle when I was recording the video, and we were really quite bullish and up around this area. Yeah, pretty sure that was it this one or this one? It was one of these two. But when I was talking and recording it live, they were really bullish up around here. So we've had a pullback. Prices found its feet again, and it wants to go up. So the trade still so the sells are still there potentially. I just wouldn't do it off of this supply here. For your safer play, it's still up around this area. And I do think, well, the news next week, and the news is massive next week. I'll be on top of it next week. I'll do probably, one Monday, Wednesday, after big news day, Thursday. So I'll go through it all. And the news is just going to be a big player next week. So although there's some nice trade ideas out there to be had, I'd just be sensible. I'm being sensible next week. I might not even trade next week. I got in on British pound, Swiss franc, but that might be it. I'm not gonna go trading at all, and unless things are not safe but safer. So there's a lot of volatility to come basically, and I'm quite happy to just chill and watch it. But it depends on gold. If gold gets in that certain area as well, I will take a trade on it, and I'll let you know. But I'm probably just going to chill. See what happens. So Euro USD, again, you know, it's just in a key area, and price doesn't really know where it wants to go at the moment. That's what that is there going on. So US dollar, US dollar. Nice to see. We had this retracement from not really broken 4 hourly demand. It wasn't very strong. We've had a nice retracement. Price has got into the middle of nowhere. So we could continue going down now because we've dropped price, we've broken the structure, this low here, we've broken this bit of market structure, broke down here, and now we've retraced, retested this area, this supply, and sort of trying to continue going down now. So these are again one of the reasons why I'm still not going to jump into anything just yet, because I want to see what the US dollar is going to do here. I want to see if it continues its pullback down to this area, potentially further. Down to here, potentially further. Bit of a key area. It's nice how it's rejected off of this 4 hourly supply alert. I'm pretty sure I said that's only just been created the other day. Yeah, a little bit of a gap down. Yeah, more downward pressure to come on the US dollar. I think at least down to 97. See what it does when it gets around these areas. I'll set some price alerts. And I'll set a price alert here. So even if I'm not watching it, I'll get told what's going on by my little tripwire. And yeah, that's going to be quite cool. So the US dollar moving forward, genuinely continuation of this downtrend on the 4 hour. See how it reacts, and then that would again push gold up. So it's a bit frustrating, really. If this had already just kept on dropping, gold would have been up by now. This pullback isn't annoying, and it is annoying. It isn't annoying because it's healthy. It is healthy. So that being said, it's a nice healthy pullback. We just got to see what happens from here, really. And let's go on the daily. Yeah, pullback again, like on the daily time frame. Pull back again onto the daily time frame. Let's have a look over the. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday. We'll see how the next two daily candles are going to react. I think next week's going to be good with updates. To be honest with you, I think there's going to be a lot of updates. I think there's going to be some serious movement next week, out of the blue movement as well. So we just need to bear that in mind. Definitely bear that in mind. I will keep an eye on these things. I've got alerts now. I'll put alerts on gold. Everything I've got alerts on, I'll keep close eyes on. So that's pretty much it with the US dollar as well. Only because we spoke about it a lot. Swiss franc. No, hang on, daily. Again, like in the middle of nowhere, there's a gap down. There's a gap here. That's getting filled. But then probably a continuation, perhaps. Gap down there as well, and a gap there. Yeah, US dollar Swiss franc trade, but longs buys. That's a nice trade to be in, for sure. Looking at the Swiss franc itself. So New Zealand dollar. So I haven't. Oh, hello. What's going on there? So what was that? Okay. So I haven't Spoke about the New Zealand dollar since last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. And we're still sort of sideways. We're still sideways on the New Zealand dollar. And last week, we've just had bullish candles to the upside. Well, 4 days worth. Rejected now nicely. So next week could be the week that the New Zealand dollar wants to just finally get down to these levels. Mind you, it's going to take probably best part of next week for it actually to get down to these levels here. Best part of next week to get to these levels. So that's one thing to consider. I mean, if you're short, the correlation. So yeah, if you're short New Zealand pairs, you've got a good few days worth of sales down to these areas. And then when we get into these areas, it's going to be quite key. Because it goes back to what I always say about clean traffic, clean moves. This is nice clean traffic, nice clean move. So eventually when we do get down to these areas, when we do break it, we do have a real potential nice move to the downside for a very nice entry for a long-term buy on the New Zealand dollar. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. And you see, like here, the price was real bad, but now price has finally chilled out a bit. It's more open. It's more fluent. We could go up a little bit to get up to around here and break it. This could just be a little baby pullback, continuation, get up around here, hit a bit of a speed bump and a roadblock, be like, do you know what? Let's just keep going. And just keep going. All the way up through. So that is something that we need to be mindful of as well. There's got to be a reason why it's just danced in this area for, well, a couple of weeks, months, to be honest. Don't really know where it wants to go between this area and this area here. It's trying to uptrend, isn't it? It's trying to uptrend all the way from down here, really. We'll have a look. I'll keep an eye on this one for sure. But the New Zealand dollar is still one I do really like. We'll look at the Aussie as well. Mexican peso. Again, nothing really. I'm not going to bore you on the Mexican peso unless you really want me to. Nah. Japanese yen. Japan. I like Japan. Where's all me zones and everything gone here? Who's rubbed out me zones then? Oh, probably didn't have any drawn because the Japanese yen is just a mess at the minute. Japanese yen is just a mess at the minute. I mean, I just don't like it. Japanese yen pairs to trade are going to be not very easy to trade, to be honest with you. GJ being one, I expect that's an absolute nightmare to trade at the minute. I used to like trading GJ back in the day. There ain't really much to talk about with the Japanese yen, guys, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't really like it. Don't like the structure, price. Like there's so much to trade. Don't need to waste your time looking at stuff like this, is what I'm saying. I don't waste my time looking at stuff like this. Euro is similar to what we spoke about with Euro USD, to be honest with you. Baby head and shoulders, big head and shoulders. Targets. Like that's what I visually saw a few weeks back, and that head and shoulders still does stand. It does still stand. And then that would be the weekly and the monthly pullback down to these areas for the continuation. What I spoke about as well the other day. Canadian. Oh, now the Canadian. We could do some talking on the Canadian by the look of this. So look at the Canadian. So the Canadian dollar supply, supply there, and you've got more supply up the top as well. No, that's not really good supply. No, ignore me. So you have, and this is the supply I'm looking at, by the way. You have supply here now, and what I'm seeing is I like levels for multiple reasons, and there's a gap as well. So I've seen already, I think, Canadian dollar weakness to come next week. I think this is what the Canadian dollar is going to potentially do next week. Definitely some weakness. And then when price gets to this area, we'll see what happens. But you could say this is demand. You could say this is demand. Daily demand with a gap. So this is a nice trade to come on Canadian dollar pairs. This is a potential nice trade to come. Like something like this, targeting that supply. Just see how price reacts on the way down, basically. News could push it down nicely into this demand. There is a gap to be filled, so something to bear in mind, something to keep an eye on. It's a bit of a mess down around here. Just don't, just as soon as price gets around here, don't just then be like at buy. See what happens, because you could break this quite happily, could break this low quite happily and just continue going down. So again, it's something, like I said just a minute ago, we'll just keep an eye on it and see what happens when the price gets to here. All right, British pound. Yeah, British pound. Pull. I can't remember. This was a few weeks ago now, but nice pullback. Oh no, nice pullback. Let's just get rid of it. Nice pullback into this area and away. But it's sort of done what gold has done. You've had two nice candles out of the demand and then a real deep, nasty pullback back into the demand. So this could be definitely the turnaround point for the pound to start getting stronger. Because even like the 4-hourly structure is very bullish here. Still, yeah, it is very bullish still. Yeah, it's still very bullish. And we've broken these highs. We've broken this high. So this is the pullback for the continuation to get up into this supply. That'd be very nice indeed. Oh, have I seen a gap? Look at that. Just spotted this gap as well. Yeah, just spotted that gap. So that's interesting in itself. Means we've got good potential. All right. Got more chance of, this has got nice potential now. Real nice. Yes, we could get a bit lower. Could get back down to around here before we decide to turn around and go up, but who knows? But we're in the key area now where price is more likely to turn around. Sort of something, along these type of lines for the British pound. Some nice potential. And I've got the British pound Swiss franc idea as well, which I spoke about a few weeks ago, which is sort of in play as we speak now, really, which I'll look at next, I think it is. No, Australian dollars next. So yeah, British pound, some more strength in it to come over next week. The Australian dollar, so that's moved nice. Oh, hang on. Yeah, last week's been a nice week. Trying to space themselves out a little bit more compared to this rubbish. Like, this is just painful. Remember what I was saying in the week about the Australian dollar, US dollar is just like slow. Well, proof's in the pudding. That proof is right there. Yeah, it's hard to talk about. I don't really talk about the Australian dollar much. Well, I do, but I don't. I do when I got stuff to talk about, but this is just not fun to talk about. All I can say is if it's going to try and break these highs here, then that's a long time. The speed and the rate we're going now, that's going to take a long time to break these. You imagine that. You imagine this. It takes 12, 15 weeks to break this high and drops down there in 2 weeks. That would just be standard, wouldn't it? Like, you just couldn't write that. But yeah, it's just slow. It's just slow. So there's not much to talk about in terms of the Australian dollar there, guys. British pound, Swiss franc. So this was the idea I said about a few weeks ago now. Literally pinged. Potentially it could go a bit lower. Potentially not much lower, to be honest. But this was the idea on the British pound, Swiss franc. And I still do like this idea a lot. Well, I'm in it. I'm in it. So what's all this up? Look, this is a chart that I marked up, but like back when I was a newbie, like years ago. Still don't know what all these lines are all about, all up around here. Don't know. What's all this? Fibonacci retracement. Like, what the hell's that all about? When was that? May last year. Don't remember doing that. So the Swiss franc is up all-time highs, more or less. It's miles up. British pound, more strength to come. So more strength in the British pound will push this. So what basically the Swiss franc's up all-time highs pretty much. It needs to have a pullback. And I love this trade idea. This is like, I'm all over this. Be sensible. You have to be sensible. These are just my own personal opinions. This is not financial advice, right? This is my own personal point of view of the markets. That is it. This is just what I visually see from many years of experience and seeing stuff and learning by stuff. This is just my personal perspective. All right. And yeah, this is my personal perspective from years of experience and years of, doing it, of this trade idea for the British pound to Swiss franc. So definitely a lot of bullish potential. And if you got triggered in this trade, happy days. You could. One thing I will say is if price does break this demand and we do get down to around here, don't just re-enter. Don't get down to here and re-enter. Don't do that. Have to evaluate the situation when we do get down there, because when we do get down there, we could have a. I can't really see it coming, to be honest, but you could just free fall, and there's nothing in the way to stop you, and you would just blow your account. So play it cool, play it safe. sensible lot sizes. Manage your risk. No one else can manage risk for you. It's down to you as an individual to manage your own trading account. No one else. Yeah. So next week's going to be quite key. See what happens with it. So let's have a look at crude oil. So crude oil. It's another trade that I'm still waiting for. Still sat on my hands with this. Two scenarios I said about rejecting down here. One was a straight fall. The other one was market structure, which you can see better here. And this is from last weekend. All of this, so none of this was printed. My overall bias, I'm still waiting for these demands. Still waiting for these demands down here because there's a gap here. There's another gap down around here as well. But next week's volatile as well. So crude oil will be impacted by the volatility of next week. And if I'm honest, like this could be my first chance at taking a crude oil buy. This will be my first chance. You get stopped out. This would be my second chance. I'm gonna, because of what's to come and because of how things have gone, I'm gonna play this safe. And I'm gonna wait for this on crude oil still. Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to be accountable for your own actions. You have to be accountable for your own actions. And like, I don't mind telling people I've lost a trade. I don't mind doing all this live and then for a trade to go against you. Doesn't bother me. I don't care because pure and simply I know that if I take a loss, then potentially I might get a winner on the next one, and that winner will be bigger than the loss that I've just taken. So it's just part of it, guys. If you don't lose in trading, then, well, it's impossible. It's impossible. Even the pros lose. Professionals, people who's been doing this a long time, they do lose. This is my long-term play for crude oil for a lot of reasons. A lot of it's world tensions, to be honest. But the news impact and what's on the cards for the future of in terms of news announcements and Trump and Powell, I'm just going to chill with crude oil. It's interesting because here in this demand, it likes this price. It likes this price a lot. Like, it's between 64 and 60, best part of 66. It's between, so like, it's in between a $2 price movement. So it price at the moment reckons that crude oil is cheap. Price reckons crude oil is very cheap at the moment. And personally, it is quite cheap, but it's going to get a bit cheaper before it gets more expensive. So there's some bargains to be had. There's some bargains to be had on it. And some good bargains indeed. Like, you get crude oil longs down here, then you're laughing. You are laughing. That's sensible as well. Like a 12 to 1 night on. Pretty size. Because when crude oil does decide to go up, when it wants to go up, it's going to really go up quite nicely, to be honest. But this could also, so now we could get real technical here. We could get real technical here. We could say we're coming into a trap because there is traps in markets as well. They do set traps. And you could say we're coming down into a bear trap. And a bear trap is basically, if you look, let me bang in. Cool. So the weekly on crude oil. Nice structure, nice downward structure, really. It's taken its time, but nice downward structure. It's just been going down, hasn't it? So when we get around these areas down to here, it's going to be quite key. There'll be a lot of people in the world probably trying to push this down. This is where the bear trap comes into play, because below this candle, you've got a bit of demand here. To be fair, oh, it does that, doesn't it? Oh, I've already marked it. Hang on. A bear trap is essentially they will just think that price is just going to free fall now, just clear all this to the left as if it doesn't exist and just keep falling out the sky. But then you'll get around these areas and then it'll reject and go up. So that's essentially what a bear trap is in a 5-second review. They do exist and they are effective. So just bear that in mind as well. But there's a nice gap to be filled. So crude oil is, you all know the long-term play with crude oil, which I'll be keeping an eye on, seeing what goes on, etc., etc. All right, so that's crude oil, guys. Silver, palladium. People got on these trades, awesome trades. Platinum. Let's have a look at platinum. Platinum's rejected off supply. Weekly supply. Hang on a minute. This could potentially break this supply, you know. It's pretty much broken it. And then you'd be up into this supply up here. Now you got a bit of supply here that's only been tapped once. Platinum, some potential more upward momentum. Some potential more upward momentum here with platinum. I mean, you look at this trend. Like, how powerful is this all the way since May, beginning of May? Yeah, platinum, I don't like platinum to go down at the minute. It looks like it wants to. It looks like it wants to. It could just continue going up steady, to be honest. Looks like it wants to. Could get a pullback down to this area. Around this area-ish. Give or take. And then continue. Yeah, platinum interesting. I reckon still more buys for platinum to come, to be honest. Well, obviously don't enter a buy now. It's suicide. Don't do that. Do not do that. So, yeah, that's platinum. Right. What did I actually want to have a look at? I like wheat. But it's a slow old bus. I think I think some more weakness in wheat to come, really. It's dancing. This would be my weak trade play. There, like that. Like that. That's what I would like with wheat, to see with wheat. But that's slow. Same scenario with gold, like up, down, up, down. It just doesn't know where it wants to go. It doesn't know where it wants to go. And that being said, I still do think we're going to go up. Yeah, I still do think we're going to go up with wheat. There's the ladder there. Old snake will come out and start climbing that ladder, hopefully. Get up to here. Which would be very nice. Very nice indeed. So we'll keep an eye on it. We got some nice things to do some midweek reviews on this week. British pound Swiss franc trade that I'm in, and a few people in my group are in as well. Where is it? Where is it? There we are. Yeah, British pound Swiss franc. This is going to be a nice one, a real nice one. So we'll keep an eye on it. So next week's exciting, really. We got some pretty big things happening next week. A lot of news to come. Thursday's just crazy. Thursday's crazy. Canada as well, big news. Is there any New Zealand dollar news? No, there isn't no real New Zealand dollar news. So New Zealand dollar is probably just going to keep dancing sideways. And that's about it, really. I hope I provided a bit of value and rundown on gold, guys. It's early morning here, mine. So, yeah, I just hope I provided some value with gold. I hope it helped. Again, it's one of them things everybody loses. It's part and parcel of it. Next week's going to be a very big week in terms of movement on gold and directional bias. Well, my directional buy is still 3,500. I'm still going to say it. It's just a shame it got taken out yesterday. But I'm still sticking with it. Still sticking with it. I've still said it. I've not decided to change my mind already because price ain't turned and broke these lows to continue going down yet. So I'm still sticking to my guns on this one. All right. But do you know what? We'll set some alarms. We'll set some alarms, see how price opens Sunday. But we've got a lot to look out for next week. All right. So next week's going to be quite cool with some midweek reviews. All right. So until then, I'll see you next week. Cheers.